Hi everyone. So we're being recorded this week. It's going to be a rerun what we've done in the previous weeks. Next week we're on a break, and then we're going to have 2 more weeks of this introduction to mindfulness. So it's my pleasure to be here with you all. I'm just rushing to get here. I just had a wee appointment this morning, so I'm going to have a breath. You'd like to breathe with me, and just feel yourself arriving. This is what I do when I'm in a hurry and I'm going from one place to another and transitioning. So I just tell myself it's okay. Let's stop, let's pause, let's feel our feet on the floor. If you're in a chair, you feel your bum in the chair, feel the weight of your body going down. You can maybe just relax your shoulders, take your shoulders off and take them back and relax and arrive. So, introduction to mindfulness from Libraries and I by me, Bridgeen Rea-Kaya. I'm the founder of Immeasurable Minds, immeasurableminds.co.uk if you want to check me out. And this session is all about unplugging. And as Anne Lamont says very wisely, almost everything will work again if you unplug it for a few minutes. So I'm inviting you today to unplug and to have a wee rest with me. Mindfulness is not very complicated. It's actually really simple. We have lots of books and apps and science all behind it that makes it sound like it's really complicated. It's actually really simple. It's about stopping. It's about calming. It's about resting and healing. So today we're going to do a wee meditation. I'm going to ask you to breathe with me. Very important, very easy and very profound. I'm going to tell you about who I am, some of the benefits of doing this practice, about the mind and well-being, and give you some resources. As always, you're welcome to ask me questions. You can put the questions in the chat or you can unmute. There'll be certain times where I'll stop and I'll invite you to ask me questions. If you do ask a question on camera today, you'll be on the recording for a year, so you're welcome to do that. I don't mind at all. You can also just keep your camera off and just verbally say it, or you can put it in the chat. So I always start with my teacher, a great man called Thich Nhat Hanh. He was a Vietnamese Zen master and he's written over 100 books, which you can also get some in the library. And I met him in 2005. I really fell in love with the practice of mindfulness because of him and his community in France, of Plum Village, a community of Buddhist monastics who run these mindfulness practice centers all over the world. And there's a big one in France. I invited him to Stormont in 2012 and I thought it was going to change the world, but it definitely changed me. I don't know if it changed the world, but it did make an impact. So as well as doing this kind of training with these beautiful monastic people, I also went to Bangor University in Wales where I did a master's. It took me 5 years. I did it part-time back and forward to Wales. And yeah, so that's my kind of training and background. I've been teaching mindfulness since 2007. So I'm also a normal person. I always like to say this because I've always been a kind of a normal, average person living a normal life. But I put up these pictures of Betty and Buddy, my daughter and my son, my little furry son. He's here beside me. Um, because yeah, I'm practicing mindfulness in the real world as well, with real stresses and pressures and all the usual things of family life. So let's get into it. What is mindfulness? Mindfulness is paying attention on purpose. So you know you're paying attention in the present moment, which is the only moment where we're really alive, where we can feel anything, experience anything. It only ever happens in the here and the now. So we're paying attention on purpose in the present moment and in a particular way. And it's this particular way that is the key to the practice of mindfulness. And the way is with curiosity, kindness, and compassion. So we need attention and we need attitude. And that's how we're going to have our mindful brain, our mindful heart. So lots of people regard mindfulness as a wee tool, a wee technique, which is fair enough. If you want to treat it like that, you can do. How I teach it and how I practice it is that I see it as a path, a pathway to happiness. If we can incorporate mindfulness into all our daily life, then we're going to get mentally stronger. We're going to become, what do you say? There's a special word, resilient. So every time we take a moment of mindfulness, maybe you can have a wee breath with me now. Some of you have been doing this with me a couple of weeks. You just stop and have a breath, a conscious breath, breathing in and breathing out. If you can keep your mind with the in-breath all the way in, with the out-breath all the way out. We've just done a mental sit-up, okay? Each one of those in-breaths and out-breaths, that's creating a new neural pathway in your brain. If, we've been breathing since the moment we were born, but we don't ever think about it because it just happens naturally. When you make the unconscious conscious, when you bring your conscious attention and awareness to your breath, you're creating this new neural pathway in your brain because your brain said, oh, this is new, this is different. And it's kind of a neutral subject for the brain. So you start to create this new neural pathway, which actually is creating all these profound changes in the body. So as well as creating a new neural pathway, and the more you often you do it, the stronger that neural pathway becomes, the greater that superhighway in your brain can be forged. You are activating your parasympathetic nervous system because the parasympathetic is your rest and digest. And when you focus on the breathing, when you follow your inhale and your exhale, you start to calm everything down. You start to release the soothing hormones. Everything starts to settle. So it's like, I know when I started this, I was like that glass of cloudy apple juice, that glass of muddy water, just all everything everywhere. And then as we sit and we settle, all the stuff in the mind, it all comes to the bottom, and then you can see more clearly. So that's how it works. And it's not that we don't get knocked over or difficult things don't happen anymore once we practice mindfulness. It's that we have a way to handle it, a way to recover and, recover well. You still have stress, you still get ill, still things still happen, but you can deal with it differently because you have this practice. So that's the kind of benefits of it, and I'll talk about more of that in a minute. So exactly what's happening is something that a woman called in Santa Clara University, Shauna Shapiro, she looked into this quite a few years ago and tried to discover what are the mechanisms of mindfulness, how does it work, and why does it work? And she said it's these three things, IAA, intention. So we have to have an intention. Why are we here? What's brought you here today? What is that you want to achieve? Is it you want to be more mindful? Is it you want to learn how to be kinder to yourself? Is it that you want to be present? Is it you just want to have a break? Is you want to take a rest? So have an intention for the practice because the intention is the kind of going to direct the outcome. Okay, so if you even think now to yourself, what's my intention? And then we pay attention. And in this class today, we're just going to be paying attention to our breath and our body. That's where we're going to be placing our attention. And then we're going to bring in this attitude of kindness, of curiosity, of interest. So this is a familiar little scenario. We're in bed and we're thinking about work, and we're in work and we're thinking about being in bed. So it's sometimes hard for the mind to be where it is. So the body might be in Belfast, but the mind's already we're in Belfast on the 1st of October, and the mind's thinking about the 25th of December, or it's thinking about your holiday in June. So this is what the mind does. It likes to go to all the places where it's not. And it's what we want to do with mindfulness is train our mind to be here now, to be present, to bring the mind and the body together, which is really helpful that we have the breath because the breath is the link between the body and mind. And if we take one mindful in breath, one mindful out breath, we can feel ourselves becoming present right now in this room where we are. in this place at this time. So some of the benefits of doing this practice include increased attention span, sharpening of focus, improvement of memory, and help with decision making. This is part of the reason why a lot of companies and organizations in Silicon Valley, they all want to have their own mindfulness program, because it does actually help counteract some of the difficulties of our modern life, of this short attention span and the social media and the bombardment of information. Mindfulness helps to counteract that. It's actually the perfect thing for our times, even though it's 2,500 years old. It increases emotional intelligence. It reduces blood pressure. A lot of people just try to do it to reduce their blood pressure. It improves the immune system, which is really handy at this time of year. And I think very interestingly, it slows the aging process. And apparently it does this by lengthening what's called telomeres at the end of our cells. You can ask me about any of this later if you like. So, I have my little friend, my puppy friend. Yep. Buddy. Yes, I have a real puppy here. This is my toy puppy that I used to always bring with me to my classes. And he's called Andy because he's a wee Andrex puppy. And he's definitely better behaved than this monkey here that you see on the screen. Um, and I would bring Andy with me as a metaphor for our mind about how the mind works. I used to always say that one day I'll have a real puppy. I never really thought I was going to get a real puppy, and there I do in real life. And you see what happens when you have a puppy. You know that you have to train them. And you say, stay. What does he do? Runs away. And you bring him back. And you say, stay. He runs away again. And then he makes a mess. I mean, he's only a wee puppy. He doesn't know any better. And he's so cute. What do some people do? Say, you're no good. You'll never be able to do this. And they beat him over the head and send him away and say, that's it. But actually, that's not the way. That is not the way to train your little puppy. The way to train the puppy is with kindness. And you give him a wee treat. And you say, good boy. Well done. Well done, won't you? Even if he only stays for a second, you feel all proud of him. Yeah. And then he runs away again and you come back. And you know it's not his fault. It's the nature of the puppy. He's only a puppy. And that's what puppies do. Your brain is exactly the same. And I really want to emphasize this point. So that's why I have so many pictures of the puppy. The mind is like a puppy. Other metaphors include the mind is like a wild monkey or a wild elephant, trying to tame a wild elephant. Some people's minds are drunken monkeys, branch to branch, tree to tree. If I had a pound for everybody who says, my mind's so busy, oh, I had such a busy mind, or my mind's terrible. People say things like that to me. And, in Belfast, we have all these sayings, you know, um, your head's a Marley, your head's melted, your head's fried. I could think of your head's away. So many metaphors we have for our head not actually being in our body, not actually being present. And when we practice mindfulness, we learn that this is nothing special. Everybody's mind is like this. It's not like my mind is better than yours, or, the monk's mind is a different mind and he came in with a different mind. We all have the same type of mind. We can train our mind. It is trainable. If you're able to sit and listen to me for an hour in this class, you can train your mind. Okay. And it's just like if you want to learn how to play the piano or learn how to play the guitar or learn any skill, you practice. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to practice. And so you can come here every hour and sit with me and we can do different practices. But you also need to practice at home. So I'm going to give you some tips for that as well. But the key thing about the mind being like the puppy, if you can remember that, is to be kind to your mind. And when your mind is distracted, when your mind is busy, when your mind won't do what you want it to do, is that you respond with kindness, respond with patience and understanding, and not beating yourself up and not telling yourself all these negative things, because that doesn't help. Okay, so we want to be kind and gentle to our mind as best as we can, and to know that it's okay, that it's normal. It's the researchers have found that it is the default mode of the mind to wander. When you don't have a specific focus for your mind, or there's nothing, particularly interesting, as in when you're just sitting and breathing, the mind will think of tomato soup and you know, all sorts of dramatic things and stories and something very important. And you just say to the mind, okay, and just come back. And the mind wants to do this, and you bring it back. And I think it's about something else, and you bring it back. Okay. This is the mind before meditation. Now we're going to do a meditation, and then we're going to see what the mind looks like after. But yeah, before it can be a wee bit of a mess, and that's okay. So let's practice. We can start by taking a couple of big, deep breaths in. So you're all muted, so I can't hear you. But if you're in the comfort of your own home, if you'd like to breathe in and take your arms up to the sky, inhale and double inhale, inhale again, and then do a big release and let it go. I'm going to do that twice more. Inhale, hold it, hold it, hold it, and release. One more time. Inhale up. Exhale, release and sigh. And if you can sigh, if you can make that sound of, you're signaling to your nervous system that you feel safe, that you're safe enough to make a sound, and that you're able to relax in this space. And I want you to smoosh your bum and get comfy. Roll your shoulders back. Roll your shoulders forward. If you want, you can twist on your chair. You can move your head and your neck from side to side. Pitter patter your feet. Have a wee look around your room, see if you can find something inspiring, a painting, a plant, something beautiful, something to make you smile, something that you're glad that you have in your room. And with that little smile of appreciation, you can close your eyes or just lower them. We're going to go inside for a while and have a rest. If you like, you can place one hand over your heart. This is called the gesture of self-compassion. We're going to talk about this more in future classes. But for now, if you just know that even if you think, oh, this is silly, why am I doing this? Your brain actually feels the heat from your hand as soothing and comforting. So you can allow your hand to rest there. And if you like, you can place another hand on your belly, another hand on your abdomen. You can even give yourself a hug if you want, and how you're feeling today. And all we have to do now is just sit and breathe. If you feel really tired or you're not well, please feel free to lie down. Take care of yourself. So we don't want to force anything. We're not trying to change anything or make anything different. It doesn't have to be relaxing. It might not be relaxing. That's okay. I'm not going to be doing anything interesting, so you don't need to look at the screen. As long as you can hear me. I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to tune in to my breathing. I'm going to bring that attitude of curiosity and see where I can feel the breath most vividly. You might like to do the same. Just notice the fact that you're breathing in and you're breathing out. You might find that underneath the hand on the chest is expanding and contracting. Maybe you notice the breath at the nostrils. Feel as it comes in, warm as it goes out. Perhaps it's in the belly, abdomen rising, abdomen falling. We know that as long as we're still breathing, there's more right with us than wrong with us. So we have this precious opportunity today. We can just enjoy our inhale, enjoy our exhale. Mindfulness of breathing is when I breathe in, I know that I am breathing in. I'm aware that this is an inhale. When I breathe out, I know that I am breathing out. I'm aware that this is an exhale. I am breathing in. I am breathing out. In, out, in, out. And remember, when the mind wanders, which it will, for everybody, it's just what the mind does. We just gently and kindly escort it back, just like the puppy. Come back and say, stay. Stay here. Follow the inhale, follow the exhale. You may even like to count the breath. If you have that particular kind of mind that likes to count, you can breathe in for 1, breathe out for 1, breathe in 2, breathe out 2, breathe in 3, breathe out 3, and so on until you get to 10. And just take your time. The object is not necessarily to get to 10. So if you lose your place, you just come back again and start at 1. The counting is like a focusing tool to help you to stay with the breath. And I also say these little mantras, which you can repeat in your own mind or just allow them to drop into your mind like a pebble in a pool. In, out. It's a very simple mantra. In, out. Breathing in, I allow my breath to go deeper. Breathing out, I allow my breath to go slower. Breathing in deep. Breathing out slow. Deep, slow. Just taking it easy. We're not trying to make anything happen. We're just noticing, observing the breath. Remember that curiosity and that kindness. Breathing in, I'm aware that there is calm, that I can generate this calm through mindful breathing. Calm is possible, even in the midst of my busy life, my busy day in this busy city, even in the midst of suffering and difficulty. It's possible to experience calm. Breathing out, I am aware of ease, even just the ease of exhalation, allowing my body and mind to experience the ease as I breathe out. Breathing in calmly, breathing out with ease. Calm, ease. Breathing in, I remember to smile. If you're new to the practice, you might not realize that smiling is a mindfulness practice. We call it mouth yoga. When we smile, we soften and relax all the muscles around the face, around the eyes, around the jaw. It takes more muscles to frown than to smile. A smile reminds us to hold it all lightly, not take it too serious, not try too hard. We're just sitting, we're just breathing. We can have a half smile, an inner smile, a smile without resistance to smile, just the attitude of smile. Breathing out, I can release all remaining tension from my body and all remaining tension from my mind. Breathing in, smiling. Breathing out, releasing tension. Smiling, releasing, relaxing, letting go, letting be. Just for this one moment. Making sure you can still feel your feet on your seat, and your breath. Checking in, still breathing. Breathing in, I am aware of this present moment. Present moment being the only moment that I can feel anything, do anything, achieve anything. It's only ever happening in the here and the now. Breathing in, aware of this present moment. Breathing out, understanding it's the only moment. Present moment, only moment. The present moment is consistent of everything we can hear right now, anything we can see if our eyes are open or closed, anything we can smell, anything we can feel, warm or cold, pain or comfort, our thoughts, feelings, emotions, things that are here right now that we don't think about. We can just sense it. We don't have to push any thoughts away. Just let them come and let them go. The clouds in the sky, just passing. The constant is our breath. The breath is like our friend, holding us, keeping us here, keeping us present. We keep coming back over and over to our inhale and our exhale. It's this constant repetition, this constant coming back that's building our mindfulness muscle. It's not special breathing, it's not pranayama or yoga, it's just observing the breath as it is, as it's happening, without any effort. Breathing in, I am aware of this present moment. Breathing out, I know that in this moment I'm safe. I feel that in my body. I'm safe here, safe right now, safe in this place. I'm well enough with all sorts of issues, but I'm well enough to sit, well enough to breathe, well enough to be here. There's nowhere to go, and there's nothing to do. So even just for these three reasons, safe, well enough, nowhere to go, and nothing to do, I get an insight. I can see that really, actually, this moment, it's a wonderful moment. Breathing in, aware of this present moment. Breathing out, knowing it's a wonderful moment. Present moment. Wonderful moment. Also busy. There's always so much to do. How many moments can we just sit and be? Human being, not a human doing. Using the breath and the body as our anchor to keep us present, available, for our appointment with life. Showing up for this moment. So to bring this short introductory meditation to a close, I'm going to use the sound of the bell. The bell is a bell of mindfulness, and it simply says stop. Stop all your thinking, all your planning, all your worrying. It says stop and come back and breathe in and breathe out at least 3 times mindfully. So when we hear the bell, it just reminds us to breathe. We can listen. Listen, listen. This wonderful sound is calling me back to my true home, to the here and the now. Just breathe in with the sound of the bell. Okay, so you can come on back and you can share a little bit with me if you would like to. Let me know how that was for you. If you have any questions, if you find that difficult. Yes, I like human being, not human doing, Joanne. Yeah, 100%. I like that as well. Yeah, and in fact, they say the more times you can spend in being mode, which is what we were in there, just simply being, existing, um, then it'll improve your doing. So it's counterintuitive. We think we have to do, and do more. And actually, what we need to do is stop, and then we'll be able to do more effectively, surprisingly enough. Thank you, Rhonda says very effective. Yeah.
Yes, thank you for that, Bridgeen. I felt like a tingliness in my forehead, and which was very relaxing. And another thing, as you know, I've been interested in what you or mindfulness for a number of years now, and I live quite near a church. And if I happen to pass anywhere when the church bells are ringing, it's nearly like a signal for me to stop and take 3 breaths.
Yeah. That's brilliant. That's a really good way to practice. Thank you for sharing that. Often when I've gone away in the past, I've done these long retreats in France or Vietnam or somewhere, and we on these retreat places we're trained when we hear a bell to stop and to breathe. And I found myself out and about back home and just stopping because you can train yourself to do that. So it's a lovely reminder because mindfulness is so simple. All of you here can do it. You can understand what I've said. You know what the practice is now. You've actually done some with me. The hard part is to remember to do it. The hard part is to take the time to do it. So if you have something like a church bell to remind you, just to stop and take a couple of breaths. That's one of the wee techniques I'm going to give you to do during the week, is to have these wee moments of stopping. I used to teach something called traffic light meditation because a lot of us are driving around or even we're out walking, and we have to get somewhere and there's a red light, and quite often a red light signals frustration, and I'm in a hurry and this traffic's terrible and I have to get somewhere, and instead of getting all like this, we can just see it as a stop sign, because it is a stop sign. And we can come back into our body and breathe in and breathe out 3 times mindfully. Imagine if everybody was doing that on the Ormer Road, because it's where I used to teach. Imagine everybody on the Ormer Road was sitting breathing with the traffic lights. It would be. It's just. It's one of those things. If you're out and about and you have to do it, I see. Heather says like the Angelus on, yeah, and RTE they still have the Angelus again. It's just little points in your day. This is sort of timeless wisdom. It comes in many different forms. It's so simple, but it takes a wee bit of effort to do it. But that's a good reminder. Yeah, being near church, seeing a stop sign, a traffic light, anything like that. I'm just looking at some of the messages. Mary was nearly in asleep. That just means you're tired, Mary, and you need a wee rest. Rhonda likes the superhighway idea. Like the wee puppy, Brenda says. Oh, yes, and you were meant to be here then. That's great, Brenda. Thank you for sharing that. Heather says it was calming. Granny says relaxing. The recording will be online. Maureen's asking about the recording. It's going to be up online. Yeah, Rhonda likes your idea, Lynn, as well. um, yeah, another relaxing session. Okay. When the circle goes round on the computer or phone, breathe. That's a really good point. And in fact, another one from Plum Village is telephone meditation. If you ever try to phone there, they take ages to answer the phone because the first three rings, they're breathing. So they're going to be breathing. I used to work in an office and I was supposed to pick up the phone within three rings. And I'm like, I can't practice that, because we're supposed to, when we hear the phone, first of all, breathe rather than, jump to it. So yeah, there's definitely ways you can try to bring little bells of mindfulness into your day. You can put up a sign. They say, you can put something on your fridge or on your wall, but after a while it becomes like wallpaper because you don't see it anymore. So you need to keep changing the location of your sign, yeah, to remind you. But it is helpful to have little reminders. And if you have a friend who also wants to practice mindfulness, you can text each other. In the course that I do for young people, it's called dot B, which is like a full stop and then a lowercase b, and they're encouraged to text each other to dot B, which means just be. Yeah. So we pause, we stop sign, at the end of a sentence, and then the B for breathe or be. So you can do that as well. Um, and Jane says she feels a bit emotional. Yes, Jane, it is normal to feel emotional too. And for me, that's a good sign because it means that the practice has touched your heart and that you've had some space to feel your feelings. So quite often we're so busy and we're so go, 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 doing lots of things, and we can't even breathe. We don't have time to really feel what's going on. So if you do the practice regularly, on a regular basis, it will allow some of that emotion to come up and be released. Yeah. And it is a good idea if strong emotions come up, to find someone to talk to about it, a friend, a counselor, etc., someone who you can share with, because yeah, it's just probably been there for a while and maybe just haven't had time or space for it to allow it. So it does happen more so when we do the compassion, which we're going to do in a few weeks' time. Quite often that can happen. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. We just did our guided meditation, and I'll tell you where you can get access to more guided meditations as well as this recording today. And that's me and Buddy after our meditation. We're all chilled out. I hope that's how you're feeling too. So the reason for this slide is to say that meditation is not a selfish thing to do. Taking the time to do 10 or 15 minutes every day is like putting on your own oxygen mask. It's like giving yourself that space to breathe and space to feel your feelings and time to be with yourself. So all the other people in our life, our jobs, everything we have to do, it's very important. But actually, the most important thing is ourselves, our own wee self. If you can take care of yourself, then you have more energy and capacity to take care of others. So I'm going to come back to some of these things in different weeks. I want to get this slide is about your homework. So if you really want to get the benefits of mindfulness, you need to do it outside of this session as well. And the research says that we need to do 12 minutes at least 4 or 5 times a week. So it's not a lot really when you consider a whole week, but that can be really difficult. So if you can't manage that, and it can be challenging to get 12 minutes 4 or 5 times a week, is this little hand on your heart and just say a wee mantra like breathe, it'll be okay. Especially when you're stressed. Just give yourself that kindness, that little pause. Stop and pause throughout the day. Listen to the church bells or the traffic sign. And just give yourself 3 breaths and do a mindful activity like brushing your teeth or doing the dishes. I'm going to go into this a bit more in the sort of final session when we start to do mindfulness in daily life, but just trying to be present with what it is that you're doing. I come back to this. I like to share about my free meditations. I have 17 free meditations on this app called Insight Timer. You can see it here on the screen. And you can just get it on an ordinary web page, or you can download the app onto your phone on an Android or an iPhone. You can sign up for the app. You can just skip anything that tries to get you to pay for it. You can pay for it if you want. You can get extra features, but you don't need to. It's completely free. Um, and I have meditations that are 4 minutes long and are 50 minutes long. There's different types of meditations. I have hand cream meditation. I have body scan meditation, which are great at night. Quite often people are giving me questions about sleep. I would recommend the body scan at nighttime to help you unwind and slow down. And there's also sit-in meditations. And I do have a specific 12-minute meditation if you want to do that as your challenge and try and do 12 minutes 4 or 5 times a week. I'll just look at the messages here. Yeah, Insight Timer is great. Oh, thank you, Brenda has listened to me. Thank you. Give me a wee rating. I always appreciate the ratings. Um, yes, so you go into Insight Timer and you just put in my name, Bridgeen Rea-Kaya. And that's if you like my voice. People from here tend to like to find, a Northern Irish voice, but there is something like 200,000, maybe even more than that on there. So you can find everything, every type of person, every country, every language. You can find something that you like. So you don't have to stick with me. Though when you're starting to learn, if you do like my voice, it's good to stay with the same one for a while. Um, oh, yeah, very tired. Okay, let me see what else I have here. I'm going to come back to that. That's my classes. You can go on my website and find out. I'm actually starting a 50-day challenge next Tuesday morning. It's half an hour every morning at 7:30 in the morning. You can sign up for that if you like on the website. That's it. So, yeah, any more questions? Uh, thank you, Maura. Thank you. That's really our introduction, and I thought I would end today's session with the gratitude practice that we did last week. So we've got 5 minutes and we're going to do this gratitude practice that Lennon, if you haven't done it, you'll be going, what are we talking about? And gratitude is a mindfulness practice because the minute we stop being grateful is the minute we stop being happy. And for me, mindfulness is a well-being and happiness practice. And the practice of gratitude has been shown to rewire our brain towards positivity and well-being. At one point, the BMJ, British Medical Journal, bought all their GPs in England a gratitude journal. Oprah Winfrey says it's her number one spiritual practice. People do a gratitude journal for a year and it changes their life. The idea is that you sit down and you write 5 things that you're grateful for every evening, or 5 things every morning. I have lots of gratitude journals and I find it really difficult to consistently write it. So I learned this little practice that doesn't involve any pens or journals or anything, and it's portable. And I'm going to share that with you today. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to hold our thumb. We're going to close our eyes. We're going to tune into our heart. And we're going to think of one thing that we feel grateful for. And we just breathe with that. And we thought of one thing. We're going to move to our next finger. We're going to hold the next finger. And we're going to think of something else. And quite often we do think of the big things in our life. I like to be grateful that I have a roof over my head, that I have a nice house to live in, that I have a car to take me places. I'm grateful for my husband, grateful for my kids. So you can think about the people in your life. A wee dog. There's a lot of things maybe that we have now that we didn't have a few years ago. It's equally as important because we're going to do all 10 fingers. So I want you to take your time. I want you to feel and breathe with each finger that you hold. Think of something different. I really want you to think of little things. So as Lynn was saying, someone told me they were grateful for buttons, and someone else in the group said, yeah, chocolate buttons. And I always think of that nice hot shower, or a lovely hot cup of coffee in the morning, wee cup of tea. Maybe somebody let you out in that terrible traffic today. Maybe somebody give you a compliment. I'm very grateful to the team at Libraries NI for putting these sessions on, for organising us. I'm very grateful for all of you for showing up here, for practicing with me, for staying till the end, for your comments. Thank you so much. When you have done all 10 fingers, you can just keep your hand on your heart, your two hands on your heart, and notice how you feel from taking literally 1 minute, 1 minute, I suppose, to count your blessings, to notice what it is that you can be grateful for. There's a lot of things wrong in this world. There's a lot of difficulties. There's a lot of stress and trouble. And yet, I'm so grateful to still be alive, to still breathe, and to be able to share this practice with you. Yeah, Rhonda, your granny used to say, count your blessings. I was on Radio Ulster once and I explained this practice, and the guy said, oh, you mean count your blessings? I'm like, yes. Yeah, it's actually a good thing to do. And there's science behind it. I feel justified to say that now. There's a lot of research to show that it really makes a difference to our brains.